05, sir. Welcome to Center for Social Dialogue. Center
Namaste.
for Social Dialogue is an open platform where you can exchange any kind of idea, thought, philosophy. There is no restriction as far as the ideological perspective is concerned. But what we are advising the people always is to restrict, to avoid extreme ideas, and then understand the provisions of the Indian Constitution, which provide for right to freedom of expression under Article 19 and various laws governing the area. So, accepting these three limitations, we are not putting any limitation either on the speaker or on the persons participating and joining the social dialogue. We always believe that social dialogue has the potential to generate a greater healthy atmosphere in the society. And this very purpose of the Center for Social Dialogue is to avoid or reduce the number of disputes in the society. So once again, I welcome all of you. Today, Gandhi-King Foundation and Center for Social Dialogue jointly are commemorating an incident which happened in 1893 on June 7th, where Gandhi was evacuated from the first class compartment, even though he has a valid ticket at Pietermaritzburg. And then that has become the starting point of a new Gandhi, the Gandhi who went to Africa as MK Gandhi has become Mahatma Gandhi there. He started the experiment of Satyagraha there. So this day of June 7th is celebrated as the Satyagraha Day also. So this particular activity will be moderated by Professor Prasad Golnapalli. All are welcome. Prasad ji, now I am handing over the mic to you. Please conduct the further proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumar Garu. In fact, for us, it's a great honor that we are observing June 7th. In fact, the dream is that we should make it something like an International Day of Satyagraha worldwide. It should be recognized. Because the transformation in Mahatma Gandhi started from this date, June 7th, 1893. The train incident, either he could have gone back or pocketed the insult. The third option is to fight the injustice. That is a choice he made. And that's how what we are today is because of that incident. So last year, we have all organized Gandhi-Mandela-King conference in Pietermaritzburg, the very station where Gandhiji was a victim. It was a fantastic, wonderful program. We had about 45 delegates from India. We had Dr. Christian Walthoff from Germany. We had Professor, so many people from all over the world, they participated. So Claiborne Carson from Stanford University, the director of the King Institute. So he was there. And David Gengen, he was chiefly coordinating the whole program so wonderfully. Along with we had the collaboration of University of KwaZulu Natal. So it was a fantastic experience. We have got Mohanji, then Vijay Ramlingam, who participated in that. And I look forward to most of their experiences and the whatever ideas were generated, what we should do in the future. Now we have got Dr. Sriram Sonti. He has succeeded at one level, I should say, where this day, June 7th, is recognized by the state of Illinois. It is one of the greatest achievements, I would say, for him, for me, for all of us. And gradually, we hope to get this day recognized even at the United Nations. That is a dream that we have. So I would request Dr. Sriram Sonti, because he has to go. He has only half an hour's time that he could spare with us. So I would first request Dr. Sriram Sonti to speak, and then we'll have David Gengen, who is the president of Gandhi Memorial Foundation in Pietermaritzburg. Then we have Christian Walthoff, a scholar, Gandhi scholar from Germany. So all of us will share these ideas and experiences and the importance of this day, what we have to learn, what we have to take from this day, and how do we go forward. I request now Dr. Sriram Sonti to please speak.
Namaste and greetings to all Gandhian followers and persons who believe in Gandhian vision of peace through ahimsa. June 7th, as Mr. Prasad, Professor Prasad and Professor Ragkumar have mentioned, it's a very important event in the human history, actually in the history of humanity. It is like a sea change or a game-changing point for our reflection towards our fellow human beings, how one should treat each other. The important thing, as Mr. Jengan will describe the actual thing that happened on the platform, but I'll give a brief history because I am moved by the June 7th, 1893, only because I wondered when just 24-year-old, how could he change the whole course of human history by what happened on that night? We all know Mohandas Gandhi went as a barrister in law, trained in London, there to defend a case between two Gujarati Muslim brothers. But during that time, he faced a difficult challenge. And during that time, he made a bold decision to face the discrimination that happens across the globe, especially in South Africa. Today, I want to mention three things and leave the podium or leave the floor because I have to attend to my patients in about half an hour, 40 minutes. First thing, as I said, is I want to use this movement as how to change the new young people or young minds entering the global arena or world arena. My taking is Gandhiji has once said, we have on this earth enough resources for everyone's need. Let me repeat it. Gandhiji has said, on this earth, we have enough resources for everyone's need, but not for anyone's greed. Why I'm mentioning this quotation is now with the IT proliferation and the way the governments are getting elected, and we see instant money making as the goal of life at any cost, at any human life, whether it's your own brother, your own friend, your own parents, or your own colleagues. So this thought process is going in a difficult direction. I won't say wrong, but only time will decide, and difficult direction. So how can we change back to the need-based thought process from greed-based economy process? So with that in mind, I want to bring this to the youngsters who are in high school, who are entering the college. Because once you enter the college, most of the people enter college feel the education is only to make money, for sustainability. They don't see education is to empower the society or make the society a better league of humans. So that thought process, somehow I want to inculcate in the makers of education system across the globe. So from high school, I want to get high school's children listen about Gandhi or Mahatma Gandhi and see what his thought process was and why he did what he did in South Africa. So on that note, I was trying to make this day, June 7th, as a Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day. Again, Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day. This I mentioned last year in the South Africa conference. So how do I spread this across the globe? So this is how we started a year ago. Now I want to tell these youngsters how to conduct themselves. Yes, make money, but save and share. Let me use this word again. Save and share, not save and hold. So we have to somehow change this philosophy. That's the number one thing. So the one thing I mean is today I want everyone to accept, which I have proposed to the state of Illinois. June 7th is the Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day. There are 4 words in it. It's global for the world population. Gandhi, Gandhian vision and values. Youth, the youngsters who are going to shape world in the coming future, and mission. The mission should include peace through ahimsa. So in so doing, we had the meeting last year honoring the participants from from USA and Chicago at the KwaZulu-Natal meeting. And one of the state senators, who's of Indian origin and Andhra born, Andhra native child, has become our chief guest that day. His name is Senator Ram Villival. He was impressed by the presentations of the children on that day and the mission we were undertaking. And without my knowing, he put it as a bill in the state of Illinois that we have to declare this as Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day. So I'll read the bill that was approved in the state of Illinois. Senate Resolution number LRB 103-38540. Whereas on June 7, 1893, Mohandas K. Gandhi, who became known the world over as Mahatma Gandhi or Gandhi, was evicted from a train after refusing to give up his first-class seat because the compartment was reserved for the whites only. And whereas Gandhi's experience led to the movement of Satyagraha, which is a peaceful non-violence resistance on the principles of ahimsa. And whereas Gandhi was a proponent for the principles of ahimsa as he led and inspired movements for civil rights and freedom across the world. And whereas Gandhi adopted nonviolence as a philosophy and an ideal way of life. And whereas Gandhi was a leader in India's movement to earn independence from the United Kingdom through the means of using nonviolence, and he subsequently influenced leaders around the world in pursuit of freedom and civil rights, including South African anti-apartheid activist and politician Nelson Mandela and American minister and activist Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 103rd General Assembly of the state of Illinois that we declare June 7th, 2024 as Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day in the state of Illinois, and be it further resolved that we encourage others to be the change they want to see in the world, and be it further resolved that a suitable copy of this resolution be presented to the Gandhi Memorial Foundation of Chicago as a symbol of peace. This is what the document is. And today we are celebrating this as a public meeting, inviting about 25 children. They're going to present art on Gandhiji, and also there are 7 children speaking on Gandhiji's values. So I took upon myself to take 2 quotations of Gandhi, which were well read and well received across the globe. One is my life is my message, and second is be the change you want to see in the world. My life is both general statements. So it is difficult to pick what we are to pick from Gandhiji's philosophy. When he said, my life is my message. So one is adaptation of ahimsa, and second is getting peace. And then the be the change you want to see in the world is also a generic statement. So I picked up 7 quotations from Gandhiji, which reflects by saying, be thoughtful, be mindful, be truthful, be hopeful, be faithful, be graceful, be grateful. So we all can be peaceful. So I wanted to suggest the children to read. There are quotations with reference to those 7 comments. So let that be the change that you want to see in the world. So you can propagate or become the ahimsa ambassador through Gandhian values and Gandhian mission. Thank you one and all, and let's hope we realize a peaceful world across the globe, free from wars, especially in Ukraine and in Israel. And let's hope the nuclear warheads will not be used. Om Shanti, Om Shanti, Om Shanti. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Sriram Garu. What a wonderful and most satisfying day for us today, especially because this day, whatever recognition we wanted to bring for this day, if it could start with no less a place than Chicago, the state of Illinois, it's a great satisfaction. It's a great achievement, and I'd like to tell all our yes, Sriram Garu.
I just want to say one more thing. State of Illinois is where Abraham Lincoln was born, who became the president, who created emancipation for the slavery of Africans. So this is also a state where amazing things can happen, do happen, and will happen too. Thank you.
Even Swami Vivekananda's lecture in Chicago, one of the most famous incidents. So Chicago is known for many such things, and if this transformation or recognition...
Sir, Prasadji, Chicago is also famous for that 1884 8-hour strike where 6 people were ultimately punished. They were all anarchists, famous anarchists, and that was the day of as celebrated as May Day even today.
Prasad Garu, Chicago is famous because Dr. Sriram Sonti lives there.
Oh, thank you.
Why Chicago is great. 100 incident. Thank you very much. And in fact, I want to tell all our participants today, if we are able to see this date being so well recognized, or South Africa being brought onto the world stage of peace movement, it is all because of Dr. Sriram Sonti. In fact, we both went to South Africa in 2019 when this event was taking place, where Dr. Ila Gandhiji, then David Gengan, all the people had been so wonderfully organizing. We both had an opportunity of participating. But since then, the idea was the place, Pietermaritzburg, and the date, June 7th, should be on the world agenda. So the place, Pietermaritzburg, should be on the World Atlas, or at least World Peace Atlas, and the date, June 7th, should be on the World Peace Calendar. So if this is happening, in fact, it should not, I don't want to hesitate that this whole credit goes to Dr. Sriram Sonti for his relentless efforts of almost 20 years. So that's what it is. And then David Gengan had put in enormous efforts last year in even mobilizing the Government of India's support. Dr. Puneet Kundal, the Joint Secretary, was there as a chief guest. The conference was an amazing success. And the whole thing was done by David Gengan in a wonderful way. And I would now request David to kindly share and also give us, the whole audience, the importance of June 7th, and also narrate the very incident, the train incident, which is very, very significant in the peace history of the world. David Gengan.
Thank you very much. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are in the world. It's good to see so many of you that we've come into contact with over the years. And some of you were there last year at the conference. Firstly, let me just say, I did congratulate Dr. Sonti via the email, but I think let's add our congratulations from Pietermaritzburg for the wonderful work that has been done in the state of Illinois, especially through Dr. Sonti and his committee. It's a wonderful achievement. And I think the movement that has been started with the youth needs to then spiral out of the USA and capture youth from around the world. And I know that African youth and South African youth in particular are going to be involved in that process. As Professor Prasad has indicated, the Pietermaritzburg Gandhi Foundation was established in 1989 for the sole purpose of commemorating that event. In fact, the committee was established to commemorate the centenary of the event in 1993. And the committee has existed since then. We're now the Pietermaritzburg Gandhi Foundation. And we do various things in Pietermaritzburg, apart from commemorating the 7th of June, which we do annually. And we just had a function this morning at the railway station. We also have a youth symposium, a Gandhi Mandela Youth Symposium in the month of August. We have a Gandhi Memorial Lecture in the Gandhi Week in October, and a peace walk at the end of that week. We at the moment, we are actually taking Gandhiji's suggestion of self, taking care of yourselves. I can't get the word now, but in terms of you're helping yourself basically and learning skills in order to to take care of yourself wherever you live. And so at this point in time, we are supporting a garden project where we are assisting 10 schools in the area by providing the implements, providing seedlings, some training, fertilizer, and so on. And they are working very well. These skills are being taken by the learners back to their homes, and they are establishing gardens for themselves. You know, the concept that President Mandela came out with was one garden, one home, one garden, in order to sustain yourself. And it's very much on the basis of what Gandhiji was saying all those years ago, you know, where we can take care of ourselves. And so this function on the 7th of June, as I said, is one of the key events that we actually commemorate. And so this morning, I had a chance to take the audience through what actually happened and the significance of that, and some little history on the Mahatma himself. So let me just read a couple of extracts from this, and then perhaps we can open it up thereafter. One of the 6 principles of nonviolence espoused by Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., which he based on Gandhiji's philosophy, was that nonviolence is a way of life for courageous people and is active resistance to evil. Gandhi himself said that his active nonviolence started from that day on the 7th of June, 1893, when he was unceremoniously evicted from a first-class train compartment at the railway station here in Pietermaritzburg. It was a day that was to transform his life, as most of us know, and a night that actually changed the world. Hence the reason why our foundation tells a story each year. So as we gather here in this webinar, and also as we gathered this morning to commemorate the incident that launched this young lawyer from India into an activist for peace, truth, and nonviolence, we have to be mindful of what is taking place around the world. The violent crimes, violent demonstrations, political instability, political terror, terrorist activity, the continued threat of nuclear war, increasing accessibility weapons, and military invasions and war in countries like Afghanistan, Ethiopia, Mexico, Yemen, South Sudan, and recently in Ukraine with the war with Russia, and now from last year, the war in the Middle East between Israel and Hamas. So the quest for world peace has become increasingly complex, especially with the rising power politics that are being played out globally. So we have to replace the weapons of war with, as the Chinese proverb says, with gifts of jade and silk, if we are to ever achieve the universal aspirations of development and peace. About the incident itself, Gandhi said in his book, My Experiments with Truth, that 8 days after his arrival in Durban, Dada Abdullah booked him a first-class berth on the train to Pretoria. Actually, the train only went as far as Charlestown on the border of Natal and the Transvaal then, and wanted to travel by coach the rest of the way. He said that he saved 5 shillings by not paying for the bedding, in true Indian tradition, I think. When the train arrived at the station at about 9 o'clock that night, a railway worker came into the compartment and asked whether he needed bedding. This man was followed by a passenger, a white passenger, who, when he entered the compartment, looked Gandhi up and down, and looking very disturbed, he left and returned with 2 officials. And Gandhi was instructed to go to the van compartment, which is 3rd class. He, of course, refused, saying that he was allowed to travel from Durban on a first-class ticket and he would not go out voluntarily. So a police constable was then summoned and Gandhi was pushed out of the train with his luggage following. So Gandhi refused to go to the van compartment and the train left without him that night. He then went into the waiting room with his hand luggage, not knowing where his main luggage was. And he said it was bitterly cold that night. And he sat shivering in the waiting room, too scared to ask for his luggage so that he could get his overcoat. The passenger joined him later, a white passenger joined him later that night, but he did not talk to him, he said, because he was not in the mood. And while he sat there in the waiting room, he said he began to think of his duty. I think Prasad has mentioned that the three things that he was thinking about. Should he fight for his rights, or go back to India, or go on to Pretoria without minding the insult? He decided that to return to India without fulfilling his obligation would be cowardice. He realized later that morning that the insult he felt was superficial and a symptom of deep color prejudice, and he decided he would stay and try to root out this problem. The following morning, he sent a telegram to the general manager of the railway. This was one of the first documents that he wrote when he was in South Africa, expressing his protest at the treatment he had received in Pietermaritzburg. He also sent a telegram to Dada Abdullah, who immediately contacted the general manager of the railways, who justified the conduct of the officials, but also instructed the station manager to ensure Gandhi's safe passage to his destination. Dada Abdullah actually contacted some friends and Indian businessmen in Maritzburg, who then met with Gandhi that morning and told him of some of the hardships they experienced through the color bar. He was told that Indians traveling first or second class had to expect trouble from railway officials and white passengers. And he departed on the evening train on the 8th of June, this time purchasing a bedding ticket that he had refused in Durban. But his ordeal was not over, because on reaching Charlestown on the border of Natal and Transvaal, he had to transfer to the stagecoach, as I've indicated, because the railway line ended there. He was made to sit in the coach box outside the coach, even though he had a ticket, a valid ticket to sit inside. Gandhi said that he knew it was another insult, but decided it would make no difference to protest the injustice, which would have resulted in the coach going off without him, and he would have lost another day. So he sat beside the coachman for most of the journey. The coach stayed overnight in Standerton, and Gandhi wrote a letter to the coach company protesting his treatment and requesting a trouble-free journey to Johannesburg, which he was granted, traveling in a bigger coach. He was met by a gentleman called Abdul Ghani Seth, who, on listening to the events of Gandhi's journey, warned him of what to expect in the Transvaal, including the fact that he would have to travel third class to Pretoria the next day. Gandhi refused, saying that he would rather take a cab to Pretoria. They then decided to send a note to the station master indicating that he always traveled first class and that he needed to get to Pretoria urgently, and that there was no time to await his reply. He would receive it in person at the station the next day. The manager actually issued him a first class ticket, but he absolved himself of any responsibility for anybody asking him to move to third class. So Gandhi reached Pretoria that night at 8 o'clock. And so began his first 2 weeks in South Africa. He said in his autobiography that this incident actually started his act of nonviolence, as I've indicated earlier, and planted the seed for the formation of Satyagraha, which, as we all know, stands for truth force, and which is very, very badly translated to be passive resistance. Gandhi's philosophy of nonviolence was greatly influenced by the Quran, actually, and the scriptures, both the Quran, the Bible, and of course the Bhagavad Gita. And in fact, he was given a copy of the Quran when he boarded the train in Durban. He was very influenced by the Sermon on the Mount in the Bible, in the book of Matthew, which said, "Blessed are the meek, for they shall inherit the earth. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called the children of God. You have heard that it has been said, an eye for an eye and a tooth for a tooth. But I say unto you that whosoever shall smite thee on the right cheek, turn to him the other also." So you can see that this resonated with Gandhi and the philosophy that developed through the years. Gandhi himself indicated that there were many differences between passive resistance and Satyagraha, even to the extent that passive resistance had a scope eventually and a preparation for the use of arms and the harassing of the other party. He said Satyagraha and brute force can never go together, and there is no possibility of injuring an opponent. The opponent is rather conquered by suffering in one's own person. Gandhi said, real suffering, bravely borne, melts even a heart of stone. Such is the potency of suffering, and therein lies the key to Satyagraha. So he gave us Satyagraha to the world, actually, as a powerful technique of mass civil disobedience, where the rulers were shamed by voluntary suffering, with resistors seeking beatings and imprisonment by breaking laws in a non-violent yet utterly determined manner. Satyagraha was to be the weapon that was to bring freedom to India from colonial rule. And in South Africa, it was used to pressure the government to scrap the need for registration of Indians, to scrap the £3 tax imposed on free indentured laborers who chose to stay in the country, and to recognize marriages conducted under Indian religious rites. Gandhi's 21 years in South Africa shaped his philosophy, as we know, especially as it relates to peace and nonviolence, which, given what is happening around the world today, is so relevant to achieving a peaceful society where human life is respected. Nelson Mandela once said that, and I think it's been quoted already, that India gave us Mohandas Gandhi and South Africa gave back to India the Mahatma. So the 7th of June is where it all started, at this very railway station here in Pietermaritzburg. Now, I want to quote a very important person. It's actually a grandson of Gandhi. Gopal Krishna Gandhi was the High Commissioner of India to South Africa in the 1990s. And he, I think, encapsulates this whole event and the incident that happened. He said, and I quote, "When Gandhi was evicted, an Indian visiting South Africa fell. But when he rose, an Indian South African rose. He fell a barrister, but rose a revolutionary. He fell with a ticket nobody honored, but rose with a testament none could ignore." And he goes on to say that Gandhi's biographer described him as a child of an ancient and noble race. His father, grandfather, and uncle were prime ministers of their respective courts. His childhood and youth were spent in India, where he was familiar with the splendor of an Eastern palace. In manhood, in fact, he had known nothing of color prejudice, but by profession, he was a barrister, trained, as we know, in English law schools and called to the bar in London. But here in Natal, it was all changed. On this railway station in Pietermaritzburg, it was all changed. When a white fellow passenger got a railway guard to order Gandhi to quit his first-class carriage, and when on refusing to do so, Gandhi was forcibly ejected from the train, all did change. And not for Gandhi alone. It changed very quickly thereafter for Indians in South Africa. The fellow passenger, the guard, and the constable were a trinity in oppression and a threesome agency for change. Gandhi was not flung here. He was launched as at the moment of birth. And he goes on to say that all births are traumatic, only we don't remember the one all of us commence our lives with. Porbandar in India's western coast launched him to physical life. Pietermaritzburg on South Africa's east coast launched him with transformation shock to public life. In fact, he received a second birth certificate in Pietermaritzburg, one that marked his political birth, unquote. And I think most of you know the history of Gandhi in terms of his early childhood and so on. So I'm going to skip that. And just go to the offer that was made. It was for 105 pounds at that time to come to South Africa to advise, to be the counsel and advise the firm's counsel, in fact, who was white. And at that stage, there were no attorneys or lawyers in South Africa that could speak Gujarati. In fact, there were no black lawyers. Gandhi was the first one when he came in 1893. And so he departed, of course, in April 1893 at the age of 24, as Dr. Sonti has mentioned. And in his words, to try his luck in South Africa. Of course, the case lasted a year. And this is very interesting. At its conclusion, he returned to Durban to prepare for his departure to India. And at his farewell, the issue of the Indian franchise came up because the government at that time wanted to remove the franchise from Indians that owned property in South Africa. They could cast a vote. They couldn't stand for election, but they could cast a vote. And he was persuaded to stay for another month to make representations to stop the bill. And of course, he was to stay another 2 years, during which time he established the Natal Indian Congress, the first black political formation in South Africa. He left for India in 1896 to bring his wife and sons, his 2 sons, to South Africa. And the rest is history. They stayed for 2 decades. And it was during this time that he experimented with truth and developed the core tenets of his philosophy in all aspects of life. This was, of course, in between his work as a lawyer and activist and passive resistor in Natal and the Transvaal, taking up the various protest actions against discriminatory laws and regulations. And of course, he left South Africa on the 18th of July, 1914, Soon after, the Indian Relief Bill was passed in Parliament, scrapping the £3 tax for indentured laborers, the Black Act, the Transvaal Immigration Act, and recognizing Hindu, Muslim, and Parsi marriages. His work, he said, in South Africa was done. On his departure, when Smuts, in fact, Gandhi was one of the thorns in Smuts' flesh, who was part of the South African government in the Transvaal. This is what Smuts said: "The saint has left our shores, I hope forever." He had no idea of the legacy that Gandhi would leave and the impact that his ideals would have on the liberation of our country and, of course, of India also. Former President Nelson Mandela said in his speech at the railway station in 1997, and I quote, he said, "He showed us that it was necessary to brave imprisonment if truth and justice were to triumph over evil. The values of tolerance, mutual respect, and unity for which he stood and acted had a profound influence on our liberation movement and on my own thinking. They inspire us today in our efforts of reconciliation and nation building," unquote. The world has come to know Gandhi as this thin older man in a homespun dhoti and shawl, leading the independence struggles in India. He actually came to us in South Africa as a shy young barrister wearing the frock coat and patent leather shoes of his profession. Ramachandra Guha, as most of you would know, as one of the Indian writers, said he was an unlikely candidate for the compelling episode of self-definition, from which he emerged a confident public figure and an accomplished political organizer by the time he left in 1914. It was here in South Africa that he came to acquire and practice his four major callings, those of freedom fighter, social reformer, religious pluralist, and prophet. And more than 7 decades after his death, his life and legacy are still discussed and acted upon in countries that barely knew him. And he continues to loom large in the land of his birth. His ideas are praised as well as attacked, dismissed by some as dangerous or irrelevant, yet celebrated by others as key to resolving tensions in religion, tensions between our low and high castes, and tensions between humans and the environment. Einstein said this of him, and it's an inscription on the Gandhi statue in Pietermaritzburg. He said, "Generations to come, it may well be, will scarce believe that such a man as this one, in flesh and blood, walked upon this earth." So it's in conclusion, I'd like to just read out a message that I received from Gopal Gandhi during the week. He always contacts us during this week because of the 7th of June commemoration. This is what he said: "If Gandhi had comfortably reached his destination on that railway journey, the world would have been denied the transformation it craved. His being put out from his first-class seat placed him in the first class of world changes. May every dispossession of the weak by the plotters of monopoly and every brutalization of the unempowered innocent by the hegemonies of brute power kindle in the victims the example that Pietermaritzburg's Gandhi holds up for all time." If there is anything, colleagues, that we can learn from Gandhi, it would be the need to translate our thoughts and speech into the ethos of action. When what we think, what we say, and what we do are in harmony, we can achieve Sarvodaya, the abode of peace and love, a society based on fraternity, truth, self-sacrifice, and non-violence. I hope that we can all do our part to make this a better world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, David. This is a wonderful description of the incident of June 7th. I always love to hear again and again from you. And each time you just give a new reflection, new interpretation. Thank you very much. And what I propose to do with the time remaining is that we got some friends from South Africa who joined this program, some people who attended the conference last year from India. So I'd like both these groups to speak briefly, but then if we can leave about half an hour's time where our other participants can interact, that'd be really wonderful. So I'd like to call on Nishi Bandhu. She's the secretary of Pietermaritzburg Gandhi Foundation. Nishi, are you online? Nishi, Otherwise, I would like to request Shanta Maharaj. Shantaji.
Yes, Professor Prasad, I am very much here.
We would like to hear you, your blessings on this
Well,
day of transformation.
I think David knows that. David, I've watched you in awe for years, and I will continue watching you in awe, because I think, you know, when you say things with passion and you really mean it, it comes through. So yes, always wonderful listening to that. On that note, I'd also like to inform everybody that on Richa Deokar is on our chat at the moment. And Richa and I met at last year's conference. We have been in touch, and on Sunday, she and I are meeting online, and we're going to discuss different aspects of Gandhian philosophy with regard to women and destitute children. So that's what we're looking at. We are going to do a recording. I will share the recording. But yes, there's so many ways to take the Gandhian philosophy to the people. And, you know, I think we cannot forget the women and the children, especially the destitute children, the unwanted children in this. So yeah, Professor Prasad, thank you so much for having this function and giving me an opportunity.
Thank
I
you.
appreciate it.
Thank you, Shanta. Shanta works a lot with the young people in South Africa, especially training, developing their personalities and things like that. Thank you so much. And I would definitely ask Richa to speak. But before asking Richa, I would like to ask Dr. John Chelladurai, my friend from Mahatma Gandhi Mission University, who led a team from the University of the Vice Chancellor and others. John?
Greetings. Thank you very much for organizing this gathering commemorating 131st anniversary, as well as a kind of alumni gathering of the delegation. It is nostalgic. We were all talking between us how what a moving experience it was to be in Pietermaritzburg with our friends and colleagues, and it really rejuvenated our spirit. Prasadji.
Yes, yes.
We wish you. We wish that you continue to organize such programs. With the coming back to the occasion, Gaganji has really recapitulated in a vivid way the whole incident, and that we need to ruminate again and again, so that the dispassionate way we dissect the conflict situation and distinguish the wrong here from the wrong, and we address the wrong. We also teach the opponent how to
We are not able to hear you, John.
I'm sorry, probably my link is not proper.
Now we are able to hear you, yes.
This recollecting with the marriage work is very important, so that we can understand how institution wrong here and address the wrong, and while endearing the wrong here. Thank you very much. Our solidarity with you forever, and we will work hand in hand to make this world a better place in a certain way. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. John. Thank you very much. Your contribution had been very significant in the conference. May I now request our friend from Germany, Dr. Christian Bothoff, a great Gandhi scholar, president of Gandhi Information Center in Berlin. In fact, in 2022, we invited Christian Bothoff to India. Himself and myself, we visited about 14 universities, 11 colleges, 16 institutions in 9 states across India. So it had been a wonderful opportunity to bring Gandhi alive to various universities and colleges. So Dr. Christian Bothoff.
Yes. First of all, my gratitude to David. As always, a great joy to listen, and I would like to read what you read to us. That would be nice. So there should be a kind of text published. So to read it, because all your details we cannot remember properly, so it should be read. And also for teaching purposes, I think would be a good starting point. My starting point when I hold a lecture in a few minutes will be about the difference between the event described by Gandhi and the movie representation, and also deepening the understanding of racial discrimination. And in this context, I think now my task could be just to refer to the basic document and to reread it for 3 minutes with you. The International Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Racial Discrimination, 21st of December, 1965. So I can also give you the link, but maybe first I will just try to find the proper text passage, which is maybe deepening our understanding. So in the preamble, one can say, you find any doctrine of superiority based on racial differentiation is scientifically false, morally condemnable, socially unjust and dangerous. And there's no justification for racial discrimination in theory or in practice. Discrimination between human beings on the grounds of race, color, or ethnic origin is an obstacle to friendly and peaceful relations among nations, and is capable of disturbing peace and security among peoples and the harmony of persons living side by side, even within one and the same state. The existence of racial barriers is repugnant to the ideals of any human society. It was during the time when governmental policies were based on racial superiority or hatred, such as policy of apartheid, segregation, or separation, 1965. And the necessary measures to be taken, speedily eliminating racial discrimination in all its forms and manifestations, and to prevent and combat racist doctrines and practices in order to promote understanding between races and to build an international community free from all forms of racial segregation and racial discrimination. Article 5 is particularly interesting. This is the last part I want to quote. To prohibit and to eliminate racial discrimination in all its forms and to guarantee the right of everyone without distinction as to race, color, or national or ethnic origin to equality before the law, notably in the enjoyment of the following rights. So now a list of rights. This list of rights is quite significant. So the right to equal treatment before the tribunals and all other organs administering justice. B, the right to security of person and protection by the state against violence or bodily harm, whether inflicted by government officials or by any individual group or institution. C, political rights, in particular the right to participate in elections, to vote, and to stand for election on the basis of universal and equal suffrage, to take part in the government as well as in the conduct of public affairs at any level, and to have equal access to public service. And other civil rights, in particular the right to freedom of movement and residence within the border of the state, the right to leave any country, including one's own, and to return to one's country, the right to nationality, the right to marriage and choice of spouse, the right to own property alone as well as in association with others, the right to inherit, the right to freedom of thought, conscience, and religion, the right of freedom of opinion and expression, the right to freedom of peaceful assembly and association, economic, social, and cultural rights, in particular, the rights to work, to free choice of employment, to just and favorable conditions of work, to protection against unemployment, to equal pay for equal work, to just and favorable remuneration, the right to form and join trade unions, the right to housing, the right to public health, medical care, social security and social services, the right to education and training, the right to equal participation in cultural activities, the right of access to any place or service intended for use by the general public, such as transport, hotels, restaurants, cafes, theaters, and parks. So I think it was necessary to add this because this is now the basic text of the United Nations. And there are many more, as we know, declarations which followed the Durban Declaration, etc. But I think this could be a good basis to understand what racial discrimination in all spheres of social life means. Thank you.
ప్రసాద్ గారు మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోవాలి.
Whatever research findings and whatever information you cull out from various documents is so valuable to these meetings. Thank you, Christian. May I request K. Mohanji from Chennai. He led the Tamil Nadu team to South Africa conference. Mohanji?
Thank you. I will mention just 4 small things. First one, it is a holy place for people like me. We had a great reverence for Gandhi, and actually South African I want to come to South Africa even in 2014. That is, we are from Tamil Nadu. The Great March took place in 1913. So 100th year, I want to come and participate in it. But unfortunately, I was not able to do it. But along with Annamalai, Prema, and others, I was able to do it last year. Unforgettable event. And the work I met the people there. They are all so friendly. I am thankful to Prasad ji for it. Let me say what Gandhi says about that incident. Because I am a very much lover of books and new things. This is the book, Gandhi, A Life by Krishna Kriplani. He was associate of Dr. Rabindranath Tagore. He was in Shantiniketan. A very beautiful book. And what he has written about that South African incident, Maritzburg railway station incident, I will read just 3 or 4 lines only. Later years, after Gandhi came to India, American missionary by name Dr. John Mote visited the Mahatma in his Sevagram ashram in central India. Reverend Father John Mote. He asked Gandhiji, what have been your most creative experience in your life? He asked him. Gandhiji replied, such experiences are a multitude, but as you have put the question to me, I recall one experience that changed the course of my life. He then related the Maritzburg railway incident. So the incident what happened June 7th was the incident which was in his mind, Gandhiji's mind. Recalling the dismissal scene, Gandhi went on to add, now the creative experience comes there. Creative experience comes there. I was afraid of my very life. I entered the dark waiting room. We also went there where he sat. There was a white man in the room. I was afraid of him. What was my duty? I asked myself. Should I go back to India or should I go forward with God as my helper and face whatever was in store for me? I decided to stay and suffer. The last sentence is very important. My active non-violence began from that day. See, this is approval from Gandhi himself. So his active non-violence started only from June 7th, he says. Is it not a great thing? Yes, that place we visited. And then I was fortunate to meet Christian Batloff and Judith J. Brown. And I have another book with me. This book is Gandhi, the Prisoner of Hope by Judith Brown. I am reading that also. So that is the second thing. The third thing I want to thank everybody, including Prasadji and others, and also Risha and John and many people who are so friendly, and my friend Vijay Ramalingam, Nanda Rao, and also Senthil Kumar. What I want to suggest one more thing before I conclude, the last one is, please don't meet like this once in a few months or like that. Every month, only once in a day, please Prasadji arrange so that we will introduce a book about the Gandhi and we will discuss it. So that we will be in active participation of all the things that happened in South Africa and also something associated with him. I wish we should be an active participant every month, single day, we have to meet. I hope Prasadji will do it. We will definitely join with you, sir. So it was a great experience. I can't forget it in my life. Thank you for sharing for it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your, I don't call it an advice. I will take it as an order.
Yes,
Every
yes.
month we should have a book reviewed and organized. Yes, we will take it up. Now,
Thank
can
you,
I
sir.
ask our young friend from Maharashtra, Richa Devkar? She is a young representative from India in the South Africa conference. Richa, are you online?
Yes, I'm there. Am I audible?
Please. Yeah, very much, very much.
Yes.
And
How are you?
We'd like to see the
We
young
would like to
perspective.
see your face also.
Actually, I'm in the car. Just give me 2 minutes. Am I visible?
Yes. Yes, yes.
Hello, Aya. He
Yeah,
hates it when
Richa,
I
please
call
go
him
on.
that.
Please go on.
Yes, yes.
Hey, you are with John.
Yes, I'm with John.
Oh, what a great pleasure to see both
Get
of you
together.
together. Wonderful, wonderful.
Yes. This is our little reunion. Am I audible?
Yeah,
I
very
think
much. Please
the
go on.
reception is poor.
Please go
Yes,
on.
yes,
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 yes.
you are audible. Please proceed.
6 seconds. Yes. So it was just yesterday, and actually since a few days that John sir and I have been discussing South Africa so endearingly. It is also because I don't know, for me as a very young person and not having known anybody as young as me, so interested in Gandhi, it was a very life changing experience for me in many, many ways. And I credit the work that I have done after returning from South Africa to South Africa and the wonderful experience I had there. It was definitely because of the wonderful people I met, this wonderful assortment of people. And I don't know, I'm just a little emotional today looking at all of you. It was such a great experience. And this day, again, is very, very important. And we don't talk about it as much as we should because this was truly a turning point for so many reasons. And it gave the world an entirely new direction and it changed history in so many ways. And yes, so I would like to talk about a few projects that I took up after returning from South Africa. And one of them is I was appointed as the director of MGM Navi Mumbai, the university where John sir is there. So I was appointed as the director for Gandhi Center. And I've been teaching medical students. I've been teaching physiotherapy students and management students. So there were about 900 people that I took a certificate course with. So 900 people gave an exam. They wrote reflective assignments. And it was a great experience and an entirely different field, an entirely different topic for them. But the response was really overwhelming. I never thought medical students would want to learn about Gandhi or just because it is very common when the name Gandhi is uttered, people don't want anything to do with it. And I was really glad. And what I've understood is people only need a direction, and especially the young generation, they have to be, Gandhi has to be portrayed in a way that they understand it. And he's perceived very differently by everyone. And it's not easy to understand him also. That is why we have to take that responsibility of portraying it in a way they would understand and they can relate to. So it has been a great experience. And the other project is we have started an ashram for orphan girls. So I assist my father in Pune with the school that we are running together for children of prisoners and sex workers. The other project is we have started an ashram and it is called Destitute's Palace for, again, children of daughters of prisoners and sex workers. So we'll only be having girls, and it is a very Gandhian model where we are trying to work on the ideals and principles of Gandhi. So everything that Gandhi did, like he was very into this concept of having things procured from within 5 kilometers of the locality. And we are going to do that. We are going to start growing our own things in the locality that we are, or procuring things that we cannot grow. And we are actively putting Gandhian thought as a subject, even in the ashram. So every evening when they come back from school, we sit and we discuss. We'll have the Sarvadharma Prarthana, the interfaith prayer that I have started already. So yes, these are the developments, and 1 year has just flown.
Thank you, Richa. Wonderful reflections. So then I would like to ask Vijay Ramalingam ji. Vijay Ramalingam ji from Tamil Nadu. Then Shankar Bagadeji from Mumbai is another senior Sarvodaya leader who participated in the South Africa conference. Bagadeji. Then I request Dr. Kranti She was again another great inspiration for me and a great organizer of the conference, Dr. Kranti.
Namaste. And I was doing my work and listening to everybody, but when Richa started talking, I came running and I was focusing totally on her. So this is what Sontiji and every one of us, all elderly people sitting here above 60. So we want youth to come forward and lead the Gandhian ideology. I'm extremely happy, Richa. Congratulations. And it's a long pending visit for me to visit you. After coming from South Africa, I also have done something. I visited SOS village in South Africa. After coming here in Hyderabad, I was searching for the SOS. I visited that SOS project. They have all the destitute women as the mothers. Orphan children are given by the state government allotted. So every mother is having a house, home with a 3-bedroom. So some girls and boys are given as the children of the mother. So what I'm doing for last 1 year is I'm taking care of the health of the all the destitute women there and also the children who are given to the orphanage. I'm working with the SOS. That motivation is after visiting South Africa. I never knew that there is a SOS village even in Hyderabad. And another thing what I have done is composting the kitchen waste generated in the residential schools with the guidance from the scientists whom I'm very much associated with them in the agriculture university. Then we are in organic farming. We're not having any acres of land, but we are working with the farmers, sending them for training in the agriculture university in vermicomposting and organic. And recently, Prasad Garu is totally 24/7 busy in bringing the produce to Hyderabad, and we are introducing to, because we have to support the farmers who are in the organic farming. These are the 3 things, and I'm asking Prasadji. Last year, he has visited Malaysia after coming from South Africa. And there is one Geetaji at present in Hyderabad. We'll be meeting her tomorrow. And our team can go to Malaysia also. And if Jan or Richa organize some meeting or Mohanji in Chennai, we all can meet physically. Thank you.
Sir Prasadji,
Yes.
my small suggestion is
Right.
there are a good number of seniors who have studied Gandhi from the Center for Social Dialogue wing also.
Right.
I would be happy if you can allow them also to express some of their views, because here we have Dr. VBJ Chelikani, who worked in UNO.
Raghukumar Garu
Sir,
started with that, and I am about to hand over it back to you so that you will kindly.
No, not with any other thing, because
No. That's what I told you in the beginning
Dr.
itself.
Muralidhar,
I told you already that after these people who have from South Africa and those who have gone to South Africa, they speak, then we can have an interaction. Now it is open for that kind of interaction.
Professor Balmohan Das ji, Mukteshwar garu ఉన్నారండి, Mukteshwar IAS.
మీరు స్టార్ట్ చేయించండి ఒక్కొక్కళ్ళతోటిను.
Yes, Raghu garu, I'm there.
Please, sir, please. Please, Miru, you can start, sir. You can.
Yeah. In the recent past, probably this is one of the best sessions I had. This is something like a very life-changing experience. Hearing so many number of people who are working on the Gandhian path, and also taking it as a life mission in taking forward the message and exceptional work of Gandhi for the best interest of the mankind. I have only one small interesting question about the incident of 7th June 1893. All of us at one point of time suffer from some kind of ignominy, some kind of insult, some kind of injury by someone in the name of in the name of some form of discrimination. But either we become mute spectators or mute witnesses. We don't oppose, we don't stand by anything, and we take it for granted, and we generally go in the run of the mill. But Gandhi took it as a kind of an unjust act, and as a trained advocate, and also as one who is standing for honestly for the cause of just and who has some understanding of just and unjust, he rose against that, and he started questioning it, and he made it as a movement for Satyagraha. That was the movement of movement when Satyagraha was born. Here it's a case of individual experience becoming something like universalized. Most of the incidents happen in our lives. They become too much individual. We forget, we forgive and leave them. But how exactly Gandhi took it forward as a universal movement? That exactly is my question. I don't know whether I'm understood. Prasad Garu can throw light up.
Professor Balmohan Das Garu.
Good evening to all of you. I think Gandhi was born on 2nd October 1869 as Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. But Mahatma Gandhi was born on 7th June 1893. Dr. Sriram Sonti rightly says that this has to be publicized all over the world, and it should be observed in making the youth to realize, so that we can always have Global Gandhi Youth Mission Day. What that we can do in that perspective has to be thought of. Nice to hear people from USA, South Africa, Germany, and India, many Gandhians, young and old. We need young and old also, young to work, Richa and Kranti taking up lots of activities. We people only talk because we feel that we are become old. But David Gangan, Christian Bartlett, Professor Prasad, they are doing excellent work, we know. I want to make a few suggestions. Professor Prasad, who is the founder of GKF, Gandhi-King Foundation, did good job, excellent work in making all of us to understand Gandhi. I don't know whether we have completed understanding Gandhi. Still, we need to understand Gandhi. I feel that we need this type of exercises not to be stopped. It should be continued. I think somebody suggested that, Mohan suggested that why don't we have every month one program? I suggest Dr. Raghukumar and Professor Prasad together. I think CSD, Center for Social Dialogue, is having a program every Friday. So one Friday in every month can be a common program of CSD and GKF to have some discussion by a good speaker on Gandhi. This is my first suggestion. Gandhi is forgotten. Okay, no problem. But Gandhi is insulted. In this country, Gandhi is insulted. What is that we can do? I feel today participants from 4 countries across the world speaking on this occasion. So can we think of Professor Prasad and Raghu Kumar preparing a 3-page note on today's program and sending it to our President of India, new Prime Minister of India, copies marked to the entire press media? That is number one. Then this day is so important. I think you people went. I wanted to come last year, I couldn't make it. But then I wish that Dr. David Gengan and Professor Prasad think of inviting the Prime Minister and all the 543 MPs that were elected in 2024 to visit Pietermaritzburg. They may not come, don't worry, but then please extend an invitation to them. If possible, let them have 1 day or 2 days parliament session in Pietermaritzburg or elsewhere in South Africa. So thank you, friends, for giving me an opportunity to speak on this occasion.
Thank you, sir. Dr. Chelikari garu. Unmute అవ్వాలి సార్, మీరు unmute అవ్వాలి.
So I'm saying that I'm born in 1940. So for the subsequent 25 years, I've been lived in a family where I was in touch with Gandhians who followed Gandhi, who went to the jail with him and he learned, and Gandhian workers in social reconstruction. So, and 25 years, I did not read Gandhi before that, but I lived with people who was inspired by Gandhi, who also contributed to the social problems. So, and then later on, I moved to UNESCO. I worked there in UNESCO for about 35 years. And in all situations at the international level, we have, in UNESCO, we have confronted many problems. So economic problems, social problems, cultural problems, racial problems, and all things. So in all these aspects, what is my contribution has been, I've inspired by the Gandhian techniques of solving human problems, conflicts. I have tried to see how I can project the Gandhian angle to a problem. Ultimately, the objective is to improve human relations. And I think for the first time in the humanity, after Buddha, there is somebody who thought of eliminating hatred and suffering in human relations in the Gandhian approach. And I think it's not an ideology or a doctrine that we simply apply, but it is something related to the person. And as a Gandhian inspiration for me is that experimenting in all situations at your own level, when you are involved in a situation, how you experiment with this force of nonviolence to improve your relations, not only solve a problem, to improve human understanding and love and affection between human beings, even with enemies. This is the message I was very much received from Gandhi, and then I have tried to apply it during my work in UNESCO in all different situations. And so that was it's a kind of recognition. I was also given a medal from Gandhi. It's called Mahatma Gandhi Medal from UNESCO at that time. But this is my contribution of my satisfaction is that I've introduced the Gandhian approach to solving many of the human problems at the level of UNESCO. So that's why I'm always indebted for having been born and then having known Gandhi. And then to further human progress, I think he has found a wonderful instrument to improve human relations, communications, and then improve love and affection among human beings. That is my understanding of what I take from Gandhi experience.
Kalidas Purushottam garu. Professor Kalidas Purushottam garu.
సార్ నమస్తే అండి.
నమస్తే.
ఈరోజు చాలా అద్భుతంగా ఉందండి, చాలా గొప్పగా ఉంది, నాకైతే చాలా బాగుంది. ఎప్పుడైనా అట్లా 3 నెలలకో 2 నెలలకో అట్లా ఇలాంటిది కూడా పెడితే బాగుంటుంది. నేను చాలా మందిని కలిశాను. ఇక్కడ ప్రసాద్ గారు మాకు తెలుసు కాబట్టి వారు కూడా వచ్చారు. చాలా మంది వచ్చారు. ఇప్పుడు యునెస్కోలో మాట్లాడిన వారిని కూడా తీసుకొచ్చి ఒకసారి చూపిస్తామని అనిపించింది ఆశ్రమానికి. మన నెల్లూరులో మీకు తెలుసు కదా, కొంచెం ఇప్పుడు డల్ గా ఉంది పాలిటిక్స్ వీటిలో, కానీ కంటిన్యూ అవుతోందండి. ఆశ్రమం చేస్తున్నారు, పనులు జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఇలాంటి అద్భుతమైన మీటింగ్లు అప్పుడప్పుడు జరుగుతాయి. ఇందులో పాల్గొన్న అందరికీ ధన్యవాదాలు చెప్పుకుంటూ సెలవు.
రావూరి సూర్యనారాయణ గారు లైన్ లో ఉన్నారా? డాక్టర్ మురళీధర్ గారు.
సార్ గుడ్ ఈవినింగ్ సార్, ప్రసాద్ గారు అండ్ రవికుమార్ గారు, and for this wonderful session being initiated by Prasad Garu sir after a long time. Actually last year I was also thinking of going to South Africa, but because of my some other preoccupations I could not make it, and some other time I must this giving me an inspiration to go some other time all alone. Just like that I went to Wardha Sevagram. Some 10 years or 12 years back, I went to Wardha on my own and I stayed there for 2 days. At that time, I was not aware of Sarvodaya Prasad and all these things. After that, I came to know, came in contact with all these people, sir. This is really a wonderful session, and I totally endorse the viewpoints expressed by Balamohan Das Garu and the suggestions. I don't want to repeat all those things, but the thing, if you can implement them in the way he suggested, and that is really going to be a marvelous job. And like that, I think we can both combine Center for Social Dialogue and Gandhi-King Foundation in such activities, sir. And that is one thing. And the second thing is, I am more interested in Gandhi even today because he is becoming relevant day by day. Why I am telling all these things is, so some great personalities like not less than Prime Minister like Narendra Modi, they are being ignorant about Gandhi and Gandhi's life story, Mauritsburg and all those things. And suddenly they came up with an idea that Gandhi became popular with the film Gandhi by Attenborough. That is one thing. And second thing is, surprisingly, there are certain other things like Kangana Ranaut who went to the extent of declaring our independence only after 2014. These are all such nonsensical things happening in our India. Probably David and all those other gentlemen from other countries may not be knowing what nonsense is going in India. And here we should not accept the things which are not acceptable. There are certain unacceptable things are going on, and we are here to certainly make a point like that. In the similar way, you see, one lady constable in Chandigarh, after security check-in by Kangana Ranaut, she is a great film actor, and she recently became an MLA, and she picked up some dialogue or discussion, and she slapped on her face for the simple reason that she commented very loosely on the protests organized by the farmers, and her mother is one of the farmers staging that protest. And like that, we should not accept certain things which are not acceptable. Will this come under violence? This is the discussion extensively going on in our batch, and exactly I don't think this is also a part of being cowardice or being accepting the things which are not acceptable. Violence is better than all those things. In fact, Gandhiji stood at a higher level with his non-violence of protest. Simply, he can be compared with Jesus Christ and Buddha. in the similar way that when Jesus Christ was crucified, he said, Father, these people are not knowing what they are doing. Please forgive them. In the similar way, Gandhiji didn't pick up any quarrel with a policeman who has thrown him on the platform, and he made a decision, and that all changed the destiny. Thank you, sir. Thank you for giving me this opportunity for sharing my views and ideas on this occasion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rangarao garu. Kasala Rangarao garu.
మహాత్మా గాంధీ శిష్యులైన సర్దార్ వల్లభాయ్ పటేల్, జవహర్లాల్ నెహ్రూ, తర్వాత రామ్ మనోహర్ లోహియా, జయప్రకాష్ నారాయణ్, మురార్జీ దేశాయ్, వీళ్ళందరూ సాధించిన విజయాలు మనకు తెలుసు. కానీ అసలు కరెక్ట్ పర్స్పెక్టివ్ అంటే వాస్తవంగా గాంధీయన్ థాట్ అనే దాన్ని భారతీయుల మీద ఎంత ప్రభావితం చేసింది, ఎంతటి మార్పు తీసుకొచ్చింది అనేది చాలా తక్కువ మందికి తెలుసు, ఇంక్లూడింగ్ నాతో సహా. ఈ విషయాలు తెలుసుకోవడానికి ఇటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలు చాలాసార్లు చేస్తే బాగుంటుంది. ప్రతి విషయాన్ని మనకు ఉన్న పరిధి లోపల ఏ విధంగా మనం పరిష్కరించుకోవచ్చు, దాని యొక్క విషయాన్ని గొడవలకు పోకుండా, హింసకు పోకుండా, దాష్టికాలకు పోకుండా దాన్ని నచ్చ చెప్తూ, కన్విన్సింగ్ చేస్తూ, అవసరమైతే మనం బాధపడ్డా సరే ఇతరులను బాధ పెట్టకుండా ఎట్లా మనం పని సాధించుకోగలుగుతాం అనేది గాంధీయన్ థాట్ ద్వారా తెలుసుకోవచ్చు. ఇది చాలా అవసరం. భారతదేశం లాంటి విస్తృతమైన కులాలు, మతాలు, జనాలు ఉన్నటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఇటువంటి అవగాహన పదం చాలా ముఖ్యమైనది, చాలా అవసరం. ఈవెన్ మావో సేటుంగ్ కూడా గాంధీ హత్య జరిగిన తర్వాత భారత లిబరేటర్ చనిపోయిందని శ్రద్ధాంజలి ఘటిస్తాడు. సో ఈ విషయాలన్నీ మనం పరిగణలోకి తీసుకోవాలి. ఇప్పుడు డాక్టర్ మురళీధర్ గారు చెప్పినట్టు చాలా విశృంఖలమైన, విషపూరితమైన పరిస్థితులు నెలకొనే అవకాశాలు ఉన్నాయి. వాటి నుంచి మనం బయటపడి నిజమైన వాస్తవాలు, నిజమైన విశ్లేషణలు మనం జరపాలి. ధన్యవాదాలు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్. డాక్టర్ కేవీఎస్ గారు.
Namaste, sir. Thank you for organizing such a wonderful meeting. And I really say whatever Paul Mandas Master is saying, it is a good suggestion. And one more thing I want to tell you, sir, whether it's correct or not, according to my knowledge, very big fights will be going on the roads. But you can't find a single murder or any kind of big atrocity near the statue of Gandhi. And in Delhi also, from Gyaramurti to Tirumurti, you can't see so many atrocities going on. So even still till today, we have good respect towards Gandhi. Only the problem is we are not making it reachable to all people who should have it. At the present scenario where big fights and because of the election results and all, Gandhian thought should be prevailed. Thank you very much. Thank you.
సుధీమతి గారు, సుధీమతి గారు మీరు లైన్ లో ఉన్నారా? సుధీమతి గారు.
ఉన్నాను. Yes, I am there. చాలా I attended a very good meeting today. Had I not attended, I would have missed a lot. చాలా మంది ముఖ్యంగా యంగ్స్టర్స్ ఈ ఫీల్డ్ లో వర్క్ చేస్తున్నందుకు నాకు చాలా హ్యాపీగా ఉంది. అండర్ ది గైడెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్డ్ పీపుల్, ఇట్స్ వెరీ ఎసెన్షియల్ టుడే. లైక్ మన బాలమోహన్ దాస్ గారు సజెస్ట్ చేసినట్టుగా we should please send a copy of the letter to all the ministerial level, and it should start again in the school level to follow Gandhian principles for a peaceful living. School level nunchi cheptene vallaki they'll be molded on a path. Otherwise so much of venom is spread in the minds nowadays. He as if Gandhi is the cause of the spoil of the country and kuda spread avutondi. So it is essential now to spread his principles of peace and equality. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Gudu Lakshmi garu. Gudu Lakshmi garu. Sitaram.
నమస్తే సార్. నమస్తే సార్. అన్మ్యూట్ అవ్వలేదు. సార్ అందరికీ నమస్కారం సార్. ఈరోజు మంచి కార్యక్రమాన్ని మీరు నిర్వహించారు. దానివల్ల మేము తెలుసుకోలేనివి కొన్ని కొత్తవి కూడా తెలుసుకోగలిగాము. అయితే నాకు ఎక్కువ మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు ఫాలో అయిన భగవద్గీతలో ఒక చిన్న శ్లోకం చెప్దామని. మనుష్యాణం సహస్రేషు కశ్చిద్యతతి సిద్ధయే యతతామపి సిద్ధానాం కశ్చిన్నాం వేత్తి తత్వతః అని. మనుషుల్లో కొన్ని వేల మంది ఉంటారు, పరమ సిద్ధులు ఉంటారు, వాళ్ళ తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకున్న వాళ్ళే మహాత్ములు అని చెప్పేసి అది నాకు గాంధీ గారిలో అలా కనిపిస్తుంది సార్. అలాంటి తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకున్న వ్యక్తి కాబట్టి ఇట్లా విశ్వమానవ కళ్యాణానికి ఒక గొప్ప వ్యక్తి ఇక్కడ మన దగ్గర ఉన్నారు అని చెప్పేసి. అట్లాగే బహూనాం జన్మనామంతే జ్ఞానవాన్ మాం ప్రపద్యతే వాసుదేవ సర్వమితి సమహాత్మ సుదుర్లభ అని. వాసుదేవ తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకున్న వాళ్ళైతేనే మహాత్ములు అవుతారు. కొన్ని జన్మలు తీసిన వాళ్ళు కూడా ఆ తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకునేది కష్టము. ఆ తత్వాన్ని తెలుసుకునే వాళ్ళు ఎవరో ఒక్కళ్ళు ఉంటే వాళ్ళు భగవద్గీతని ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేసిన వాళ్ళల్లో నాకు తెలిసిన మహాత్మా గాంధీ గారు ఒకరు. అయితే వారి ఇట్లా మహాత్ములు చాలా మంది ఉన్నారు. వాళ్ళని కీర్తిస్తూ ఒక చిన్న పాటని మా అమ్మాయితో పాడించాలని నేను చూస్తున్నాను సార్. లాస్య
హలో, నమస్తే అండి అందరికి. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా వరాల కల్పవల్లిరా సాటి లేని ధరణిలోన మేటి భరత మాతరా మేటి భరత మాతరా. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా వరాల కల్పవల్లిరా సాటి లేని ధరణిలోన మేటి భరత మాతరా మేటి భరత మాతరా. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా పాడి పంట కరువు లేక నాడు నేడు పెరుగునురా పాడి పంట కరువు లేక నాడు నేడు పెరుగునురా. తెలివితోను చెలిమితోను నలుదిశలా వెలుగునురా నలుదిశలా వెలుగునురా. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా వరాల కల్పవల్లిరా సాటి లేని ధరణిలోన మేటి భరత మాతరా మేటి భరత మాతరా. ఆర్య ఋషుల ఆత్మబలం ఆది కవుల మనోబలం ప్రజలందరి బాహుబలం నిజం మాతృదేశ బలం నిజం మాతృదేశ బలం. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా వరాల కల్పవల్లిరా సాటి లేని ధరణిలోన మేటి భరత మాతరా మేటి భరత మాతరా. శ్రీలగన్న తల్లిరా. ధన్యవాదాలు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా. థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్.
బర్త్డే సార్ ఈరోజు.
థ్యాంక్ యూ.
పాప బర్త్డే సార్ ఈరోజు.
హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే అమ్మా. హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే.
హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే అమ్మా. హ్యాపీ బర్త్డే.
సీతారాం.
థ్యాంక్ యూ సార్.
థ్యాంక్ యూ. థ్యాంక్ యూ అమ్మా. థ్యాంక్ యూ. సీతారాం. లక్ష్మీ నాగేశ్వర్ గారు. లక్ష్మీ నాగేశ్వర్ గారు.
సార్ అందరికి నమస్కారం. చాలా గొప్ప ప్రోగ్రాం, చాలా బాగా జరిగింది. అసలు మనం ఆ స్వతంత్ర దినోత్సవం, ఆ సమరం, ఆ టైం నుంచి అన్ని రంగాల్లోనూ వాల్యూ సిస్టమ్ దిగజారిపోయింది. వీ హావ్ బీన్ గోయింగ్ డౌన్ అండ్ డౌన్. ఈ ప్రస్తుత పరిస్థితుల్లో అసలు యూత్కి గాంధీ అంటే ఎవరో తెలీదు, ఆయన వాల్యూ సిస్టమ్ తెలీదు. అసలు నా వయసు వాళ్ళని కూడా మేము చాలా చిన్నవాళ్ళం అప్పటికి. ఇది హై టైమ్ దట్ టు అవేకన్ knowledge about him, ఆయన వాల్యూస్, ఆయన నాన్ వైలెన్స్, హిస్ వే ఆఫ్ హ్యాండింగ్ ఏ ప్రాబ్లమ్ ఫ్రమ్ హ్యూమన్ యాంగిల్. అన్ని సమస్యలకు మంచి సొల్యూషన్ తీసుకోవచ్చు ఇది అని మనం నేర్పాలా. యూత్ అవేకనింగ్ ఈజ్ ఎ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్ థింగ్ నౌ దట్ హ్యాస్ టు బి టేకెన్. అది ప్రసాద్ ఫౌండేషన్ లాంటి వాళ్ళు తప్పకుండా ఇనిషియేటివ్ తీసుకోవాలా, ఎవరో ఒకరు తీసుకోవాలి. నెక్స్ట్ జనరేషన్ కి అసలు గాంధీ అంటే అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నాను. ఐ అగ్రీ విత్ ఆల్ సజెషన్స్ దట్ ఆర్ మేడ్. బాలమోహన్ దాస్ గారు అన్ని చెప్పారు. థ్యాంక్ యూ ప్రసాద్ అండ్ రవికుమార్ గారు ఫర్ అరేంజింగ్ దిస్. థ్యాంక్ యూ ఆల్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
ప్రకాష్
చాలా బాగుంది ప్రోగ్రామ్, ఎక్సలెంట్. షేరింగ్ ది ప్లాట్ఫామ్ అనేది కూడా బాగుంది. ఎప్పుడైనా అవసరమైతే మళ్ళీ మళ్ళీ కూడా చేయొచ్చు. CSD sharing its platform with Gandhi Foundation or any other similar organizations. Welcome step.
Thank you. Gurumurthy garu.
Yes sir. Good evening to all sir. And ఈ రోజు జరిగిన ప్రోగ్రామ్ విన్న తర్వాత ఎందరో అనేక దేశాల్లో పనిచేసి గాంధీయన్ మార్గాన్ని, గాంధీయన్ యొక్క స్టడీస్ ని చేస్తూ ఆ దృక్పథంలో పనిచేసేటువంటి వాళ్ళందరినీ మీట్ కావడం జరిగింది. అందరికీ మరొకసారి శుభాభినందన తెలియజేస్తూ, నేను గాంధీయన్ విషయంలో అయితే నేను 1969లో అప్పుడు HSC చదువుతున్నాను. నేను అప్పుడు గాంధీజీ జయంతి ఉత్సవాలు జరిపినాం 1 year మేము. అప్పుడు నాకు పరీక్షలు, మాకు అప్పుడు 1969లో అప్పుడు గాంధీజీ ఫౌండేషన్ వాళ్ళు అప్పుడు ఒక పరీక్షలు పెట్టారు. ఆ పరీక్షలో నేను స్కూల్ ఫస్ట్ రావడం జరిగింది. అలాగే గాంధీ యొక్క పుస్తకాలన్నీ చదవడం, నాన్ వయలెన్స్, ట్రుత్ అనేటువంటి విషయాల మీద కొంత నాలెడ్జ్ పెంచుకోవడం జరిగింది. అయితే ఆయన పాటలు బాగా పాడేటప్పుడు జబ్ కిడియన చేతి చుగడాలి ఫిర్ సీస పకడ్కర్ క్యో రావత హై అంటే, మనము ఇప్పుడు జరిగేదంతా జరుగుతోంది, ఇక మనం ఇప్పుడు అంటే కాలిపోయిన తర్వాత, అంతా కాలిపోయిన తర్వాత మనం ఇప్పుడు పునరుద్ధరించడం కష్టం అనేటువంటి పరిస్థితుల్లో ఇవాళ వెళుతున్నది. చిడియన కేతి చుగడాలి ఫిర్ సీస పకడ్ అంటే, పిట్టలన్నీ వచ్చి ఆ పొలంలో ఉన్నటువంటి గింజలన్నీ ఏరుకొని తినిపోయిన తర్వాత ఇప్పుడు ఉరికి మనం చేస్తే ఏముంది అనేటువంటి అప్పుడు అన్నది నాకు గుర్తొస్తున్నది. అలాగే వైష్ణవ జనతో తేనే కహియే జే పీడపరా ఈ జానేరే పరదుఖ్యం ఉపకార కరేతో ఈ మనోభిమాన ఆనేరే అనేటువంటి అప్పుడు మేము చదివేవాళ్ళం. చాలా గాంధీయన్ స్టడీస్ బాగానే చేసినాము. అలా చేసిందే మాకు చాలా ఫౌండేషన్ గా నిలిచింది. అంటే ఎందుకొరకు నిలిచింది అంటే, నేను గాంధీని ఒక వరల్డ్ లో, ప్రపంచంలోనే ఒక కోర్ మైండ్ అని చెప్తాను. నేను ఈజ్ ఎ కోర్ మైండ్ యాక్చువల్లీ. ప్రపంచ మేధావుల్లో ఆయన కోర్ మైండ్. అది అంటే ఎవరైనా అతన్ని అనుసరించాల్సిందే. నోబడీ కెన్ రిఫ్యూట్ హిమ్ బికాస్ he stands with that kind of universal things that which he has believed and executed in his life. ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ ట్రుత్ అని తీసుకుంటే, ట్రుత్ ఈజ్ వెరీ, అది అసలు చెప్పడం, మనం ట్రుత్ అంటే మాట్లాడడం ట్రుత్ అని కాకుండా, ట్రుత్ అంటే సైన్స్, ట్రుత్ అంటే రేషనల్, ట్రుత్ అంటే లెర్నింగ్ లెసన్స్ ఫ్రమ్ ది లైఫ్. అంటే నేను అట్లా ట్రుత్ని అట్లా చూస్తాను. రేషనాలిటీ ఉంటుంది, అలాగే సైన్స్ అది, అలాగే లెసన్స్ ఫర్ ది ఫ్యూచర్ అనేది. ఇది మన జీవితంలో అనువర్తింప చేసుకున్నట్టయితే ట్రుత్ అనేది ఖచ్చితంగా మన కోర్ ఎలిమెంట్ గా. రెండవది ఆయన నాన్ వైలెన్స్ చెప్పాడు. నాన్ వైలెన్స్ ఎట్లా చెప్పాడు? మనం వి హావ్ కమ్ ఫ్రమ్ ఎనిమల్ కింగ్డమ్. డెఫినెట్లీ వి షుడ్ నాట్ ఈట్ ది ఎనీథింగ్ దట్ విచ్ ఈస్ అవర్ ఓన్ కల్చరల్ అండ్ లెగసీ ఉన్నటువంటి, మన బయలాజికల్ లెగసీ ఉన్నటువంటి జంతువుల్ని వేటాడి తినడం అనేది అటవీ మానవుడు చేశాడు, ఇప్పుడు చేయకూడదు అనేది ఆయన అప్పుడే చెప్పాడు. మరి ఇప్పుడు ఎలా? అలాగే ఎనిమల్ కింగ్డమ్ కాకుండా హ్యూమనైజేషన్, అంత హ్యుమానిటీని ముందుకు తీసుకుపోయినటువంటి వ్యక్తి లేరని చెప్పొచ్చు. ఆయన చేసిన దానిలో కొంత పొరపాట్లు, తప్పులు మనకు కనిపించవచ్చు, అప్పుడు రాజకీయ స్వాతంత్ర పోరాటంలో కనిపించవచ్చు. కానీ వాటి వల్ల దేశానికి మంచి చేయాలనేటువంటి తలంపే తప్ప ఆయనకు ఎలాంటి లోపుతోటి పైకోటి అనేటువంటి తత్వం గాంధీజీలో లేదు. ఎందుకంటే ఆయన బిలీవ్డ్ ఇన్ సైన్స్ ఆఫ్ ట్రుత్. అలాగే ఇంకొక విషయం ఏంటంటే, ఇప్పుడు మీరు మాట్లాడుతుంటే, ఇప్పుడు గాంధీ ఫౌండేషన్ కానీ, సర్వోదయ ఫౌండేషన్స్ కానీ ఇప్పుడు గాంధీజీ గురించి బాగా మాట్లాడుతున్నారు అని అంటే, నాకు తెలిసినంత వరకు ఇప్పుడు నేను 37 ఏళ్ళు నేను విద్యా వ్యవస్థలో పనిచేశాను. గాంధీజీని అందరూ మర్చిపోతున్నారు, అసలు మర్చిపోయారు ఆల్రెడీ. గాంధీని మనం మాట్లాడుకున్నాం తప్ప పిల్లలకి ఇప్పటికి గాంధీజీ గురించి ఏం తెలియదు. ఆ పరిస్థితులకు వెళ్ళిపోయింది సమాజం. దాన్ని పునరుద్ధరించాలంటే మనమే మాట్లాడుకోవడం కాకుండా మనము పిల్లల చేత మాట్లాడించగలిగే వ్యవస్థని, అవకాశాలని ముందుకు తీసుకెళ్లాల్సిన అవసరం ఉందేమో అని నేను అనుకుంటున్నా. చేస్తున్నారు, కొంత ప్రయత్నాలు జరుగుతున్నాయి. ఇది ప్రయత్నాలు ఎందుకు సఫలీకృతం కావట్లేదు అని అంటే, అంతకంటే ఎక్కువ అంటే నేను ఏమంటే వెన్ యాంటీ సోషల్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ ఆర్ పవర్ఫుల్, హౌ సోషల్ ఎలిమెంట్స్ విల్ సర్వైవ్ అంటే ఈ గాంధీని వ్యతిరేకించే వాళ్ళే వ్యతిరేకిస్తేనే తమ రాజకీయాలు ముందుకు పోతాయి, తన పాలక పద్ధతులు ముందుకు పోతాయి, తాము మాత్రమే చేస్తున్నాము, మేమే దైవాంశ సమూతులం అనేటువంటి దిశలోకి రాజకీయాలు వెళ్ళిపోయి ఇక్కడ ఉన్నటువంటి వాళ్ళందరినీ సైన్స్ నేర్చుకోకుండా, సమాజంలో ఏమాత్రము సామాజిక అభిప్రాయాలు ఏర్పరచుకోకుండా చేసేటువంటి వ్యవస్థల్ని సృష్టిస్తున్నటువంటి విద్యా వ్యవస్థే కాదు. విద్యా వ్యవస్థ అంటే ఏదో బడిలో చదువుకునేటువంటిదే కాదు, బయట కూడా అసలు ఇంకా అంతకంటే ఘోరంగా ఉన్నది. ఇంకా
గురుమూర్తి గారు కైండ్లీ బికాస్
సార్ ఆ విధంగా జరుగుతున్నది.
అయిపోతుంది. టైం కూడా 7:46 అయిపోయింది. 7:30 నుంచి
నేను ముగిస్తున్నాను. అయితే మా స్కూల్లోనన్నా ఇంకా మనం ఇట్లా మాట్లాడుకునే దగ్గర స్వేచ్ఛ ఉందేమో కానీ బయట ఇవాళ అంత స్వేచ్ఛ లేనటువంటి సమాజంలో జీవిస్తాం. కాబట్టి ఖచ్చితంగా మీరు తీసుకునేటువంటి కార్యక్రమాలు ఇంకా అందరికీ చేరాలనేటువంటి దృక్పథంతో ఏకీభవిస్తూ మరి అవకాశాన్ని ఇచ్చినటువంటి సార్కి నమస్తే తెలియజేస్తూ మరి అందరికీ ఒకసారి మళ్ళీ అభినందనలు తెలియజేస్తూ సెలవు తీసుకున్నాం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
థ్యాంక్ యూ వెరీ మచ్ సార్. కె సీతారాం గారు అన్మ్యూట్ అవ్వండి ఫస్ట్. ఆ మైక్ బటన్ నొక్కండి.
ఓకే, నొక్కానండి.
వీలైనంత షార్ట్ గా ఉండేలాగా చూడండి, ఎందుకంటే మనం చాలా క్రాస్ అయిపోయాం టైం. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
నమస్కారం అండి. నేను చెప్పేటంత వాడిని కాదు, నాకు ఆంగ్ల భాష పరిజ్ఞానం లేదు, నేను తెలుగు మాత్రమే మాట్లాడగలను. నేను బాల్యం నుంచి ఈ గాంధేయ సూక్తులు కొన్ని అవసరాలుగా నేను వాడుకున్నాను. అలాగా ఈ గాంధేయవాదిగా నేను చాలా గర్వంగా ఫీల్ అవుతూ సమాజంలో వెళ్తుంటాను. అనేక వివక్షతలు ఎదుర్కొన్నాను, అయినా నేను భయపడడం లేదు, భయపడను కూడా. పోతే ఈ మధ్య కావాలని చెప్పి గాంధీ మీద దుష్ప్రచారం విపరీతంగా చేస్తున్నారు. గాంధీజం అంటే అహింస, శాంతి ఇవి కాదండి. గాంధీజం అంటే పోరాటం, అంతేగాని అహింస శాంతి అని ముడిచి కూర్చోవడం కాదు. నేను తెలుసుకుంది ఏంటంటే గాంధీజం అంటే నిజాయితీ, నిర్భయం, నిరాడంబరం, ఈ మూడు ఉండాలని కోరుతూ ఆ విధంగా నేను ప్రయత్నాలు చేస్తూ ఉంటాను. నమస్కారం. నన్ను ఏమైనా తప్పులుంటే మన్నించారు.
సిఎల్జి నార్త్ మీరు లైన్ లో ఉన్నారా? మీరు కాదండి.
హలో సార్, గాంధీజీ గురించి చాలా చక్కటి ప్రోగ్రామ్ చేశారు. చాలా థ్యాంక్ యూ రవికుమార్ గారు. మోర్ దాన్ వాట్ ఆల్ హీ డిడ్, Gandhiji took a great risk on his life, and he took the risk continuously for years and for decades. Any day he could have been murdered before he was actually murdered. So for that we have to remember Gandhi. So everyone talks of truth and non-violence, but can they talk of truth and non-violence when it is not convenient to them, when it is very inconvenient, when it means that one could be murdered? So can someone take that risk? Gandhi took that risk, and for that we have to respect him a lot more than what he is being respected now. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now I hand over the mic once again to Professor Prasad ji for summing up the session. Prasad ji, unmute అవ్వండి.
Professor Vijay Kumar garu.
Yeah, please.
Unnara Vijay Kumar garu? Another real great Gandhi scholar, aina. So in fact, I am so grateful to Raghu Kumar garu and all participants, Dr. Sriram Sonti from Chicago, David Gengan from Pietermaritzburg, South Africa, and many people from South Africa and from India who participated in the South Africa conference last year, and they made this whole program a grand success. And definitely the kind of inspiration you have given me personally, especially Professor Balmohan Das Garu, we should like to take this mission forward, and especially in the context of what is happening in the recent months, especially the tirade against Gandhiji and all that. I think Professor Vijay Kumar Garu is online. Vijay Kumar Garu?
Sir. Good evening, sir. I am very fortunate, sir, to participate in this meeting, sir, especially remembering Gandhi on the very eventful day, sir, moment. ముఖ్యంగా రవికుమార్ గారు ఇందాక అందరికి అవకాశం ఇస్తూ అందరి అభిప్రాయాలు కూడా తీసుకుంటూ ఉన్నారు. దానికి ప్రసాద్ గారు నేను ఒకటే విషయం తెలిసాను సార్, వీఆర్ డూయింగ్ అవర్ బెస్ట్. మొన్ననే రీసెంట్ గా వీ హ్యావ్ గాట్ అంటే విత్ ది permission of the Prasad ji, I want to say that recently we have been called by Principal Secretary sir ikkada Professor mana Burra Venkateshan garu. So he wanted us from important ga mukyanga Prasad garu nannu to have this Gandhi course, sir, in government schools, and he wanted us to train about 1,000 teachers, and we have been doing that. ఇందాక మీరు అన్నారు హై స్కూల్ లెవెల్లో ఈ కార్యక్రమాలు చేస్తే బాగుంటుందని. ముఖ్యంగా ఈ తెలంగాణలో ప్రస్తుతం ఇప్పుడు రీసెంట్ గా ఒక 15 days బ్యాక్ వీ హ్యావ్ గాట్ అన్ ఆపర్చునిటీ అండ్ గివెన్ బై ది ప్రిన్సిపల్ సెక్రటరీ సార్ ఇప్పుడు బుర్రా వెంకటేశం. సో వీఆర్ వర్కింగ్ ఆన్ దట్ సార్. ముఖ్యంగా ఇప్పుడు 1000 టీచర్స్ కు ట్రైనింగ్ ఇవ్వడం ఒకటి, రెండవది అబౌట్ గాంధీ అండ్ హిజ్ ఐడియాలజీ వాల్యూస్ టు స్టూడెంట్స్ అనేది ప్రత్యేకంగా. అట్లాగే వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ట్రైన్ 10,000 టీచర్స్ యాక్చువల్ గా. తర్వాత వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ దిస్ గాంధీ ప్రోగ్రామ్ ఇన్ ఆల్ 5,000 schools ఆఫ్ తెలంగాణ హై స్కూల్స్ సార్. అది మాకు వచ్చినటువంటి అవకాశం. దట్ నిజంగా అది మీతో పంచుకోవడం చెప్పడం అనేది చాలా గర్వంగా ఫీల్ అవుతా ఉన్నాను. మీరు అందరూ అనుకుంటున్నట్టుగా ఇక్కడైతే మనం ఫ్రమ్ ది అంటే విత్ ది కోఆపరేషన్ ఆర్ అసిస్టెన్స్ ఆఫ్ ది గవర్నమెంట్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు ఇంప్లిమెంట్ దిస్ ప్రోగ్రామ్ సార్. సార్ మీరందరూ కూడా అందులో ప్రసాద్ గారు ఎలాగో చెప్తారు. ఆల్ ఆఫ్ us will participate and exchange our views and also contribute, sir, for this course, sir. Thank you, sir.
It is really a wonderful activity, sir. నేను వనపర్తిలో ఉంటాను సార్. నేను
అవును సార్. మురళీ సార్ తెలుసు సార్, డాక్టర్ మురళీ సార్ మిమ్మల్ని కూడా కలుస్తాను సార్. ఇంకొక ఉంది తర్వాత ప్రసాద్ గారితో మాట్లాడిన తర్వాత మా ఇంకా ప్రోగ్రామ్ పర్ఫెక్షన్ కూడా కొంత చెప్పాలనుకున్నాం. మళ్ళీ ఒక సందర్భంలో చెప్తాను సార్. ఆల్రెడీ టైం ఎక్కువైంది కాబట్టి నేను ఐ వాంటెడ్ టు టేక్ లీవ్ ఆఫ్ యూ సార్. థ్యాంక్ యూ.
So we will take all the suggestions, guidance that is given in this meeting. Personal, I feel it is a lot of inspiration for me, and with folded hands I will take all these suggestions forward and we'll work together. And whatever suggestions are given, in fact, I request Raghukumar Garu, Muralidhar Garu to give a shape to these ideas, how to go forward. నాకేంటంటే మీలాంటి వాళ్ళు కొంచెం ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ఇస్తే కానీ పనిచేయలేను, డల్గా పడుంటాను నేను. ఇన్స్పిరేషన్ ఇస్తే పనిచేస్తాను. యాక్చువల్గా ఇప్పుడు ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అయితే ది ప్రాజెక్ట్ దట్ విజయ్ కుమార్ గారు సజెస్టెడ్, ఇట్ వాస్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ అన్ అన్ఎక్స్పెక్టెడ్ థింగ్ దట్ హ్యాపెండ్, అండ్ ఐ థాట్ ఆఫ్ హ్యావింగ్ Muralidhar Garu, Raghukumar Garu, Vishnudev Garu, all our team, existing team for the last so many years we had been working together. We'll take forward all these suggestions, possibility of taking the message of Mahatma Gandhi across the schools in Telangana. So I'll come back to you on that. I prefer to have some physical meeting. Even in Gandhi Darshan we can organize. Now that the atmosphere is, the temperatures have come down, so we can start some physical meetings in Gandhi Darshan in exhibition grounds. We'll take it forward. Thank you very much. Thank you, Raghukumar Garu. Namaskaram. Andariki namaskaram.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you,
David.
Thank you all.
కృష్ణమోహన్ రావు గారు బ్యాక్ టు ఇండియా అండి.
Yeah. Murali. I'm back. I'm in Hyderabad. Yeah, we'll meet.
ఇంకా చాలా సస్పిషన్స్ ఉన్నాయి. We'll discuss later.
It's okay. It's really an excellent day, remembering Gandhi again. Yeah, it's an excellent day. It's a good suggestion also to have once in a month about Gandhi. It's a good suggestion.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So, Prasad ji, thanking you, thanking.
Prasad sir and Ravkumar sir. First, I want to say that from St. Anne's College, our student Madhurima was selected for US Gandhi-King exchange program. She is in the seminar. I just want to share the news, sir.
Thank you.
She is there in the webinar. So she started her program. She will be visiting University of Alabama. And it is based on the works of Gandhiji and then Martin Luther King, peace as well. So can you speak Madhurima? Are you there, Madhurima? Hello?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. I'm Madhurima. I'm from St. Anne's College. I just recently graduated. And I had the chance of
Congrats, Madhurima.
Thank you so much. I really look forward to this experience. So basically, I'll be in US studying about Dr. King. And in January 2025, I'll come to Delhi and Ahmedabad to study more about Gandhi along with 10 US students. And after that, we'll have to do these projects on ground, which are basically on ideologies of Dr. King and Gandhiji. So I look forward to learning a lot from this, and I also look forward to associating myself. I have been a part of Sevagram winter camp, and I have regularly attended the GKF sessions in my college days, in my first, second, and third year. So I would love to continue further, and like if I have an opportunity to work with some of you, I'd love that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Madhurima. Thank you. Sir Prasad ji?
Yes.
Can we end the session for today?
We can close this meeting.
So, thanking you all once again. We close the session for today, Andy. Thank you. We'll meet again next Friday on another subject.
Thank you. Good night, everybody.
Thank you, Raghu Garu. Thank you, Raghu Garu, for the pains you have taken.
Thank you.
And nice to see you, Prasad Garu.
Namaskaram, Andy.